What's up, Blizzard Nation? Welcome back to Strictly Blizzness, episode 107. Right off the bat, before we introduce Matt, that rhymed. I can think of one more, too. But thank you to Creative Edge and Edge VR and
Werner Electric
for making Strictly Blizzness possible. Well, we have a streak going, and Matt kept it alive. Wait, did we skip an episode after we had Jacob? Yeah, Thompson. Wow, I can't even say the right Tyrell. I'm done.
Oh, boy.
Let's hit him with it.
We have a special guest today.
But we have a special guest.
Yes, there was no streak. But we thought, since we brought you all a player, why not bring you a coach? Now, Corey has his own show with, what is it called?
Built Boldly Game Plan, presented by Bolt.
There we go. Excellent. So, as Larry would call him, we have Matty Barrett with us today.
Oh, yeah.
He likes calling you Matty.
Yeah, he does. I get that a lot.
You do.
Old Matty B. That's the good one.
So we have Matty B here today, and Matt has I'm going to let you talk about your background, but the reason why I wanted to have you on the show is we were transitioning from player to coach, and you've done both.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about Matt Barrett.
Yeah, so like you said, I am a former player. Definitely used to play for the Blizzard all the way back in 2016, 2017. The good old days. And then, yeah, like I said, I made my way into the coaching world in 2020, right in the middle of COVID. Perfect year.
Yeah,
perfect start year. Got one week of coaching in, and then the season was called off. So it was a good.
She did a great job.
Good start.
Yeah,
good start
great, solid start.
You were undefeated that year.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much the real quick version. Yeah, former player, Green Bay Blizzard player for 2 years, and then this past year was my third year. Yeah, third year technically as a coach on the staff. It's a good time.
All right.
It's awesome.
Fabulous. Well, we are going to put you on the spot because being a coach, we're going to talk a little bit about our season has wrapped up. We're going to talk a little bit about the playoffs that happened this past weekend, which were exciting.
Yes.
Very exciting to watch.
Action.
Oh,
a lot of action.
Lots of comebacks. I mean, it was very good.
Some good football.
It was great football.
Good football.
Yes. So, as a coach, we got to hear how a player gets ready for a game. But as a coach, I'm sure you're doing a lot of the same things, but give us kind of a rundown. If you were going into a playoff weekend, how would you have prepared for a playoff game? Let's say you're going up against Kevin Guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously as a coach, that's pretty much your whole job is like preparation. Obviously you try and set up the players for success, and then they go out there on the weekend and do their thing. That's their time to shine. So really, as a coach, everything happens at like the beginning of the week, like early on in the week, right? The more prepared you are at the beginning of the week, right, the better practices can be. The more, I guess, the players, get the game plan. Like the earlier you give them the game plan, the earlier you get them set up of what you're trying to do this week. I feel like the more time they have to, process that and, get better with that. So really, as a coach, that's the difference between a player and a coach. The coach is just so much preparation that goes in at the beginning of the week. Because then once you get to like game day and the weekend, it's really, okay, everything's set up, everything's put in place, and it's just time to go out there and, let the guys run out and have fun. So, yeah, that's the, and then obviously as a player, it's just the nerves are always there on game day, which is there as a coach too, but if you do the right things throughout the week, if you're prepared, and if you set up yourself up for success, game day is really pretty easy for me. It's light, relaxed, and ready to go.
You
just
do.
Real relaxed.
You're not like some of the coaches out there where there is so much emotion going on the sideline.
It's an emotional sport, which sometimes you do find yourself, get caught up in the emotions, just especially during the game. Once you're into the game, locked in. There's always emotions going crazy. Bad calls happen, things happen. Fans, obviously, the fans with this league, so they get into the game. So there's always emotions, but at the same time, I try to take pride in myself with that, trying to be the most calm, most relaxed. It does help growing up being a quarterback, being in the position that I was. You need to be like relaxed and calm when you're playing in football at that, so I helped it. I think that helps me as a coach. I know it definitely helps me as a coach. To just stay calm and be in that relaxed position.
So you have championships backing your whole you as a person. You played in high school?
I did.
And then you played in college?
I did play in college. I started football in like third grade.
Okay.
I think third grade. Back good old Westchester Raiders, Pop Warner football. God, just where it all started off, like dads being the coaches and everything. It's the good old times back in the day.
And so where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school at Nazareth Academy, LaGrange Park, so it's a suburb of Chicago. It was a private school in Chicago. Very, very, very good school. We were okay. We were not okay. We were kind of bad. We were part. So unfortunately, I told
we were okay. We were not okay.
I was part of like the rebuilding phase, the rebuilding process. Because unfortunately, like if I told you like Nazareth Academy now, they're like the best team in the state of Illinois, like football wise. Okay. And unfortunately, when I was there, it wasn't like that. Even though it was like the same coaches, same staff, but we were just it was a process where. We weren't the best. We weren't the best back then, but obviously we were growing. And then where it is now, where I was playing, from where my brother is, and from where it is now, it's a very good program. It's a very good program. So I played high school there in Chicago, and then I came up to Wisconsin in college, to Wisconsin Whitewater. University of Wisconsin Whitewater, the Warhawks.
That's when your life changed.
That is pretty much when my life changed. I tell people this all the time. Obviously it's Division III. So you're like, oh, Division III. It's like, oh, let's not go football. That's the great. It's very wrong. But it is the greatest decision I've ever made. Going there instead of going to like a D2 or like a D1 AA, a little school like that. To go there to Wisconsin Whitewater at the Division III level, that's by far the best decision I've ever made. Just school-wise, educational-wise, football-wise, especially, it's an amazing school. It's a great university. Obviously, I have the utmost respect and everything for what they do there, because I'll always talk great about them. But yeah, like you said, it really was life-changing to go into a program like that has so much tradition and so much success, and then just to compete at that level, it was something special. It was definitely something special.
How many championships did you have?
I ended up winning three out of my 4 years. So not too bad.
Were you quarterbacking all 4 years?
I was quarterbacking for the last two.
Okay.
For the two of them. For the last 2 years, yes.
Yeah. Good for you.
So yeah.
All right.
It was good.
So let's talk about when you're on the field, because I'm always interested in this. You have something that you're referring to usually. It goes up in front of your mouth so nobody can see what you're saying.
I guess that's just a reaction.
Because it's got to be so top secret. You got to do it like this. So
can't let the other coach see it.
Yeah, I can't let them see.
Hey,
they do it. I know they do.
People do anything. They watch film on coaches, reading lips.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I know.
It's just anything to get the upper hand.
So usually when the quarterback is coming over to you, you've either noticed something, you've been enlightened. Let's say it's third down. And you got Max or Jerome coming up to you because you've called them over. What are you saying to him? Dude, I can't believe it, but that guy sitting over there is really watching us. I mean, no.
Sometimes, it's a little different. Sometimes my mind's going crazy. Obviously, you're in the situation, but that's why we have our sheet. That's why we have our sheet to calm ourselves down. We got all our plays. I got all my categories of, what we're trying to do here in this situation, because obviously football is just a game of situations. So depending on which situation, where we are on the field, how much time, all that, it's all on my little sheet, or on my it's a little bigger sheet, but it's all on my laminated sheet there. But yeah, whenever they come over, like I said, I'm all about just trying to be as calm, as relaxed as possible, because obviously for them, they're coming up, they're out of breath, they're running to me. Obviously their head as a quarterback in professional football, your mind is just going to 1,000 miles per hour. So it's my job to, just stay relaxed. All right, here we go. This is what we're probably going to see, and give them the play and let them do their thing.
Okay.
Like, that's my job. It's really easy. Like I said, it's really easy as a coach, just on game day, really, hey, this is what we're doing. And then, hoping you prepared them enough and got them in the right position.
Okay, so just we need to clarify, though, because there's a lot of people that watch this show that are armchair quarterbacks and armchair coaches. It's not that easy, people. Just saying, you're not going to come and get a job tomorrow. He's making it sound really easy. But there's a lot that goes into it.
There's a lot that goes into it. Like coaching. I said, if you prepare yourself and you get yourself right at the beginning of the week and you're doing everything right, and like I said, you're good enough to teach your players what you want to do, and depending on what situation, like I said, game days, it's not easy, but it's supposed to be easier than practice, right? Because you want to put all the work, you want to do all the hard work in practice, you want to get all the the wrinkles, make all the adjustments throughout practice. Obviously, there's adjustments throughout the game if they do something different, but you really want to catch yourself going into the game, right, to set yourself up for success instead of, kind of getting in crap mode during the game because, we're not ready for this. What's going on here? So let's transition into the playoffs here from this weekend. So we had underdogs coming back from behind. It was crazy. Underdogs. Yeah.
No, and they weren't underdogs.
I know.
I mean, going
Heavy
into the
underdogs,
game, heavy underdogs, but then the other one was the favored, and they ended up being the underdog.
Oh yeah.
As the game started. So
That's true.
let's talk about the Sioux Falls game because I was rooting for Sioux Falls. I mean, James Brown is on that team, and they've just always been a great organization and have tasted victory so many times over us, for sure. But also, there's just a lot of heart on that team. Yeah. So they were down, and no one was thinking they were going to take that game. I mean, it's just who they were playing. Granted, they were at home, so they got the crowd into it after a while, but they were
Crowd was popping.
Yeah, they were making so
awesome
many mistakes, though, when they first started.
Yep.
So as a coach, as an offensive coordinator, how do you get... And Riggs he's just an anomaly. I mean, I feel from a coaching standpoint.
Well coached. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing over there.
Well, when the red flag would come out and it's Riggs, there's a guy down and he's coming out on the field and something's going to happen because he saw something that nobody else was paying attention to.
Right.
So as a coach, as an offensive coordinator, are you watching all of that already? I mean, do you do that? Are you going to be that Riggs that's coming out with that red flag to
We
go?
try to be. I know Coach Roberson says it all the time. You want to be like this because they do it so well.
They do.
They just do it so well. I mean, they have obviously they have the coaches on the field, but if you're not on the field and you could see at their bench, they got their coaches on the iPads, and they're looking for stuff like that to challenge or see if they've made any mistakes or anything like that, see if they can exploit anything on the other team's defense or offense, right? So, again, that's a very, very well-coached team, and that's a lot of the reason why they're able to make these comebacks and, be in games for, being down so much at the beginning. But that's also the indoor football league.
Right.
People don't realize how quick a game can change. Just one mistake, and that's football too, but it's even more in the indoor football league with the short field and how quick it is and how fast you can score and how many points you can score. Things can change real quickly. So obviously we saw this past weekend how quickly it does. But yeah, coaching wise, it does help to be on the same page and to know what you're doing, to know the rules, because there's little rules in this league as well that you can pick up on, and refs kind of it's hard to see. Refs aren't going to make every call.
Right.
The refs are never going to make every call
ever.
Never. Not one ref ever has made every single call right. It just can't happen. So to have coaches like that, are just ready to go and looking for that, and can help you. It's critical situations go from a third down to a first down just like that, and it's big. It's part of the reason they were able to come back.
Yeah, and they did a great job. So they're heading over to Frisco.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Frisco Quad Cities game. Mm-hmm. I was surprised. I really thought that was going to be a tighter game.
I did, especially with what happened last year. How Quad Cities came into there last year and won and beat them in I think that was a conference championship. That was a crazy game last year.
Yeah, that was an upset.
Yeah, and that's very true. And the way, I guess, the Quad Cities hasn't been playing as well at the end of the season. And now you see Frisco with their head coaching change and come in, they've been on they're scared. They're a scary team right now. Yeah. And they're playing, they're clicking on all cylinders. So that was good. But yeah, again, that was surprising because that was a big butt whooping. That was a butt whooping. That was a butt whooping.
Yeah. It was.
And especially because you got so much respect for the EJ Hilliard, the quarterback for Quad Cities, and how good he is. And when you have a quarterback like that, it's it's hard to lose games like that. How to get bumped. But that's just so much more credit to Frisco and what they're doing over there and how they're rolling and they're clicking at the right time. So yeah.
Yeah, and they do have a good quarterback, but you're right.
Yes.
He's known.
Right.
He was MVP last year. I mean, that's a big.
Scores a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah.
Scores a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He'll probably be Offensive Player of the Year this year, or in that category, top 3 at least.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
he's every year.
So speaking of quarterbacks, let's go to the Arizona game because Drew was definitely a factor on both sides,
Oh yeah.
win and lose, in that game.
Yeah.
So he made some big mistakes,
Yeah.
which ultimately cost them the game. But he also came back in the fourth quarter, and the second half of the game was a totally different game than the first half of the game.
Oh yeah.
Drew is one of those quarterbacks where if you need something done, he's going to do it. So he was like, and this is sad to say, I don't mean it the way it's going to sound. He was like the one-man show there for a couple of series
Right.
where give him the ball, he ran it, he made the touchdown. Give him the ball, he did,
Oh yeah. Which you see with Drew a lot throughout his entire career the past year. You see that through Drew. Like sometimes he could just get a snap and then he just literally runs around the whole defense, and that happens sometimes. And that's what he's best at.
So how much in our game is that Drew assessing the situation and him going for it versus Kevin telling him, if you get the chance, go?
It's probably a little of both. Obviously, Drew's been in this league he's a vet. He's a vet, so he's been around the game. He's gotten a lot of quality reps. Obviously, he's won a lot of games. He's been very, very successful in his career, so obviously that helps. I'm sure that Kevin Guy and whoever the coaches over there, they do help him out as well, obviously, because they know his strength, right? His strength is he's a very good runner. Obviously, he's a good quarterback. He can throw the ball as well, but he's a problem when he's a runner. He's a big guy. It's a big guy. It's like a defensive end running out there. He's like 6'5", 230, 240. That's a big guy running. DBs definitely do not like to tackle him. So obviously that's part of the game. And that's something that we tell our quarterbacks too. Like obviously when the defense, if the hole opens, if there's everybody's bailing because you're sending everybody deep and there's room to run underneath, then you take advantage of that. You just
get
run.
the
And
first
those
down.
are easy
if not
yards,
more.
and again, you see what happens. Sometimes it turns into touchdowns, right? Because he's just so explosive and he's hard to take down.
So in that game, some of it came down to number of timeouts left. Sometimes those announcers, I like Kevin's. I like Arizona's whole setup. I do think they do a great job with their, I'll call it their show that they put on every weekend. But the announcers were calling the refs zebras, and the zebras down there trying to do this, do that. And they kept saying, oh, there's not enough time on the clock, and they better do this or they better do that. And then all of a sudden they're like, there's plenty of time on the clock. What are they going to do? Thinking, is this your first indoor game?
Right.
If there's a minute left, it could go either way. Unfortunately,
a lot of time.
but Naz stuck with it. So it's
They
true in
did.
indoor football. You just don't give up.
That's it, exactly. Like I said, especially like you just said, that last minute, so much could happen in that last minute. So many points and so many, especially with the rules now, or I think it just started this year, how it's like, how you
Not having
don't, it's
to
pretty much
advance.
regular football rules. Yep. So it's like if you score, if you get positive yardage, or if you get an incomplete pass, that clock stops, and it stops a lot longer, or a lot more often than I think it did in the past. So there's just a lot more opportunities, and it's just, you gotta have game plans. Like I said, it's a game of situations, and that less than a minute is a huge situation in this game, at the end of the game and at that half. So
That had to be
that's
heartbreaking
huge.
for Arizona because they had it. They
did.
literally had the game, and then they didn't.
Yeah, they literally didn't, and they've been playing some good football too at the right time. So that was a tough one.
Yeah. So let's talk about something that became very important this weekend, and that's the drop kick.
Oh my goodness!
I did not.
my goodness.
Larry and I were talking about
Yeah.
this. I did not realize that we had a drop kick rule.
Yeah.
Right until someone does it, right?
Yeah, and then you're like,
Until
wait a
someone
minute,
does
there's
it.
a rule? So they can do that whenever they want.
Whenever they want, wherever they are on the field. You don't even no holder. You just sent the guy back there, bounces off the ground and kicks it,
So both of those guys are
and
actually
you get more points.
You get an extra point.
Yeah.
You get more points.
So both of those guys were or are from Ireland, so they're
Right. Oh,
they're
yeah, they were. I
they're
know the
rugby
announcers.
they're
Yeah.
rugby players. So drop kicking is no big deal because
Right.
that's what you
Right.
do in rugby. But the accuracy,
That's tough. I mean, and it's so much tougher to do. So obviously, a rugby ball is a lot different from football, where it's like meant to drop kick.
Yep.
So it's a lot
Right.
easier.
It's
supposed to
fatter.
bounce. Right.
Yeah.
So it's a little easier bounce. But the drop kick of football, or especially in indoor football, that's not easy to do. Like I said, for these guys to come in and, like I said, be that automatic and like that's game changing.
Literally.
That's literally game
Yeah.
changing to get that extra point, especially like at the end of the day, if you just keep stacking them up, which he was because they kept on making them. That's huge. That's a huge advantage.
so you think everybody's going to have people that drop kick next year? I mean, is that what we're going to see in
I
the
feel
league?
like people are going to at least try it or like have trials, like bring kids in. All right, let's
Yeah.
see what we can do.
Yeah, can you drop kick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Who can do it? Because, like I said, that can change the game real quick. So that's crazy.
So the last game was the Tucson Bay Area game, and I expected Tucson to win that game. I really did, but there was vindication since they beat us in our last game.
Yeah.
That they lost by
Right.
2
It
scores.
looked out of control real fast, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
21-0 in the
It was
first
like
quarter.
22-0.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes there. Again, Tucson made a lot, or pretty much one mistake. They had to fumble the first drive, and then
But then
scored, and-
that
Yeah.
turns into so many other
Exactly.
things,
That's
you know, and then
football.
they get the
Yep.
ball back and can't do anything with it. So it was, to me, I think we have good games coming up this weekend. It'll be Naz and Bay Area. It'll be Sioux Falls and Frisco.
Matt and I were talking before on the air, too. I think the Naz Bay Area one is cool because you have a former head coach versus his old team.
Yeah.
And Bay Area essentially has 2 head coaches in Dixie, and
Yeah.
that's going to be a heck of a game and a
That
crazy
is going to
dynamic.
be
Yep.
that is going to be a coaching game
Yep.
to watch
Nice.
because
They know each other incredibly.
they know.
They're a championship
there's just really
game.
good coaches
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
really good coaches.
Yeah. Yeah, so they'll be the masters of watching the clock, making sure they have timeouts for the end of the game. I mean, it's going to be
Oh yeah.
it'll be very interesting to watch. So I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, and you better have
That'll be
the
fun.
best version of Sioux Falls in the other game because didn't
Yes.
Frisco
Yes.
destroy Sioux
A
Falls
couple
in the
weeks
end of
ago.
the season?
A couple
Yeah.
weeks ago, it was ugly.
Yep.
But
I'm
like you
sure
said, it's
Riggs is
playoffs.
ready though.
Yes,
Riggs
yep.
is ready for that.
Playoffs.
Him and his
Be a little
coaches.
different. Hopefully everybody's healthy. Should be a good game,
Yeah.
like I said. But yeah, Sioux Falls needs to come play though.
Yep.
Like I said, Frisco is wrong. They're just
Yeah.
they're clicking right now. They're a scary team. That's a scary team.
Sometimes when head coaches leave, like Billy, we saw Billy this weekend on the field for Massachusetts,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when a head coach leaves, a lot of times there's just chaos that happens, right? The ownership and Billy parting ways that's their business. It's their reasons. But man, they did not miss a beat.
And
they might even be better because of it.
A coaching change can go one or either way,
Right.
right? Because it could go into slumps. We're like, okay, now we lost our man. Or a guy can come in and really uplift and bring the team together. And it seems like what's going on right here in Frisco. So, because
Yeah.
like I said, they're playing good football all year round.
All right. What else do you have as a coach that you want to tell our many 16 fans that we have?
Wow.
We're past 12 now. We're at 16.
Subscribers.
Growing,
We have tons
growing,
of
growing.
views, just not a lot of subscribers. So
It's all about the views, right?
it is. Yep.
It's really all about the
It
views.
is.
As long as people
I
are
watch it
watching.
20 times myself every week.
Okay, so the view numbers are a little skewed.
Little adjusted.
I'm kidding.
Little adjusted.
Kidding.
No. What do I got? Nothing really. I mean, it's going to be exciting. Final 2 weeks of the indoor football league, that's for sure. Like I said, these games coming up, and then this championship is going to be. It's definitely going to be a good one. It's definitely going to be. I think like I said, the whole league is heading in the right direction. You love seeing what's going on with the expansion teams, the successful expansion teams that are
Yeah,
coming,
they
that are
have been.
doing, that know what they're doing. That are doing it right, that are, again, building this league. You know, from top to bottom, I think the commissioner is doing a better job, just really trying to grow this game. And it's love to see, because I'm big, like I said, I'm a player and now I'm a coach, so I'm a big fan. Huge fan of this league. I think it's super important to have something like this, you know, for the guys. for all the players. Obviously, there's so many leagues now, but just for guys who love the game of football and who need that extra film or need that extra shot, to try and get to that highest level. And so, again, it's so important to have leagues like this, and how we're progressing, how we're going in the right direction, and the actual play and the football that's being played by this league. It's continuing to getting better and better. And you love to see it.
Yeah.
You love to see it, and you hope it keeps growing and growing. And I think it will. I honestly think it will.
So we're going to get a little personal now.
Okay.
So you're not just Maddie Barrett, player coach.
No.
You're daddy now.
Okay. I know.
How is your little man?
It's the best.
Isn't
It's
it?
the best. It's pretty awesome right now. Like I said, so on the 1st, he'll be 3 months. So time flies. Jeez, it's crazy already. But he's like a couple of weeks ago, he just started like giving the smiles and laughs. Now it's a really good stage right now, and he's really good. Like, he doesn't really fuss. He only cries, when he's hungry or he's tired, right? And so he's never really just fussing. But yeah, like I said, it's tough to put him down and get away when he's just when you got the smiles and the laughs going on and the giggles, and it's good. It's good. Me and Mom are just having
he was a little early.
A whole month early.
Yeah,
It was a whole month early.
yeah.
But again, it was a blessing in disguise. Yeah, so obviously at the beginning, it was tough being at the hospital for those extra
Good hospital, though.
2 weeks. Great hospital. It was a good hospital.
Yeah, they got great. They got great
They got
nurses
good
over
nurses.
there.
I mean,
Yeah.
I literally lived there for 2 weeks, so I know.
I know
It's
one
not
of
bad.
those. I know most of those nurses, actually. Yeah. So,
They're all right. They're all right over there. I think
One of them
they know what they're doing
one of
over
them
there.
you know
I know
really
one of them
well.
pretty
They know
well.
what they're
Yep.
doing over there. No, they really do. Like I said, those my fiance talks about it all the time. Like, those 2 weeks that we spent there. I mean, the amount of stuff we learned from, because you get like a different nurse every day, and they're like telling you all the secrets of like how to like burp babies, like how to feed them the right way, and it's like, okay, that's very good information. Like because you have your baby and they send you home, but no, we're there an extra 2 weeks, and we're good, and we knew everything. They taught us everything, so obviously that was a little more relief going home, just knowing, because obviously when you go home, you're on your own. You're like, okay, everything's on us, but like I said, having those 2 weeks to have that practice and preparation, that helped.
So then that week after the championship, you have a life-changing.
Another one. It's a big year.
It's going to be a big year. You're getting married.
Getting married. And it came quick. Obviously, with the football season going on, I knew it was going to be quick, right? Because obviously the championship is the week before. So yeah, it's been pretty crazy right now.
So if
trying to do my part now, since I did.
Did you really
very
do
little.
anything? Okay.
Did very little. 'Cause like I said, during football season, she knows it's football time.
She does.
But yeah.
So you want to give her a nice
catching
shout
up
out?
now.
Because she's going to watch now that you're on the show. Give her a shout out.
She did say she was going to watch too. I said, hey, I'm going on Strictly Blizzness. Love you. Can't wait to see you. Yeah. But no, she's Superwoman.
I knew when you first introduced her to us, I'm like,
she's different. She's
She
different.
is. She's different in a good way.
She's different.
And I think she's good for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think so too.
Are you going to say her name or do I have to say her name?
Katie. It's Katie. Katie and Quentin. Can't wait.
Fabulous. Awesome. So I think we've wrapped up Matt's life in a nutshell. Look at that. We went through
Yeah.
childhood to
All the way.
Yes.
getting married.
Where I'm at now. Yep.
Awesome. Anything else you got? What are you doing in the off season? I mean, Tyrell talked about that.
oh, yeah.
What does your off season look like? Do you coach year round? What do you do?
I know. So football all year round. So in the past, I've worked at the Sports Emporium, doing their like flag football leagues. So they got a bunch of flag football leagues for like the little kids going on over there for the winter. Because obviously it's like one of the only indoor spots, and that's what you need in Green Bay in the winter. You just can't go outside. So we usually do that flag football. But this year, I'm actually going to be helping out at Southwest High School. So I'll help out with their football program, do a little substitute teaching until hopefully a job opens up for me, but we'll see. But yeah, that's the plan. So my buddy from Whitewater works there, and that's pretty much how I got in with coaches. Started talking with the coaches, and then they were like, "Hey, bring you in."
So what kind of a
Something to do in the
full-time job
off-season.
would you be looking for? Because do you still
Like
want to
PE.
coach in our league? Oh, you want to?
yeah, always. Of
Okay.
course.
Always?
Of course. For now, of course. But yeah, I love obviously indoor coaching for the Green Bay Blizzard is very, very important for me.
Okay.
Very important.
Good comeback.
Oh, it is. You should know that. And it will continue to be. Yes. But yes.
Excellent.
Of course.
All right.
Yeah.
Matt, do you have anything for Matt? Or is
No,
he-
you guys did great. I was kind of watching. I think it took me 5 minutes to say a word. So we'll have to verify when the episode airs. But no, that's
Started
awesome.
chatting.
No.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the show. We
Yep.
appreciate it.
Well,
we
thank
like
you.
seeing your perspective
Yeah. A little different.
as a coach. It is different.
different.
I
No,
mean,
it is.
because we talk removed from the game, right? You're
Right.
in the game. You're not playing the game, but you're
Right.
part of the play of the game. So it's a different perspective.
It's a lot. It's very different. Very
Yeah.
different. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. I
You bet.
appreciate
You bet.
it. It's big time around here.
Big
It's pretty
time.
sweet. I do feel big time. This
Yeah.
whole time I felt pretty big time.
The
So
Creative Edge guys are awesome.
yeah,
They
No,
are.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome.
Well, thanks, Matt. We appreciate your time.
Well, huge shout out to Matt in time for pop culture, which Matt wanted nothing to do with. So
Well, in fairness, he had not seen what the shows that we're going to talk about. But
That's
before
fair.
we get into that, let's.
I have to catch up on words said also.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, you're going to do a lot of talking.
Bum, bum, bum.
I want to do just a little update on IFL before
Oh,
we
sure.
get into pop culture.
I had a question for you too, but I'll let you go first. So,
Well, no, give me your question.
there's a lot of stirring going on with the other leagues. Is that where you're going with this? Like both in is the NAL going away and the AFL is popping off on all news circuits, TMZ included right now? And I know you have your opinion. We try not to give them publicity on this segment.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot. I'm assuming the questions will stir and what you can and can't share before and after the owner meetings. But there's some news going on in league land, right? Just in other league land.
Yeah. So let's give some clarity around
Sure.
that.
Was that where you were going?
Yeah,
or no?
that's
Okay,
where I was
cool.
going.
All right,
So it worked out perfect.
Yep.
Obviously, we're getting ready for our championship game. We have the playoffs in full swing. We'll be doing the second round this upcoming weekend. And yes, you're right. There's so much going on. There was an announcement that four or five teams left the CIF.
Yep. Sorry,
So-
CIF. I missed that.
Yeah.
was
So
when I say,
whenever the CIF does something, everybody's like, "Ooh,
yeah.
let's
I bet
merge."
they're all IFL
yeah,
teams. Yeah,
let's
yep.
merge. There's no merger happening. So I'm going to say that right now. There's no merger happening between the CIF and the IFL or the NAL and the IFL. We have zero interest in doing that. And I'll tell you why. There is enough difference, although most people would say, oh, it's all indoor. No, it's not. We are trying our best to distinguish the IFL as the premier indoor football league. And there's a couple of things that go into that. There's the structure of the ownership. Yes, you could have a great franchise that's operating. They're playing games. They look competitive on the field, but they're a hot mess behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We're not looking for any hot messes. There's some of those CIF teams that have changed ownership quite a bit over the last 5 and 10 years. So in order to come into our league, there's a couple of things that have to be in place. They have to have strong ownership, which means that they have to have some money to be able to back their product.
Yep.
We travel quite a bit, so there is dollars associated with that. The AFL coming back, I just say people, do your research. I mean, they can talk a good game. They're great at talking. They've been great at talking. This will be the third time they're talking, and it doesn't come to fruition. So everything will start to come into place as time goes by. Now, would any of them be welcomed into the IFL? Again, that's the strength of their balance sheet, the strength of their franchise. Would we entertain it? Absolutely. Our commissioner would entertain talking to any ownership group.
Yeah.
You can't be affiliated with another league in order to come into our league. So that's just the way that it goes. You can't have that. You can't be a CIF member
Yeah.
and then talk to the IFL. Our commissioner won't talk to you.
That makes sense.
So, and then there's no sure thing that if you leave your league that you're going to be in our league. We have requirements. So,
Cool.
So I would say just watch it all shake out. The championship is coming up for the CIF, so that that obviously plays a role in what other teams do. our championship is coming up. But I will say this, anything that would happen between any teams has to happen really quick, because we've talked about this before. You'd already be behind the 8 ball if you're not talking or getting ready for next season. So a dormant team has to be moving already. And if they aren't, they'll be dormant another year.
Sure. Yeah.
You can't get ready for a season in October.
Right.
I mean, think of all the stuff we're doing in October.
Yeah.
Everything is set.
Yep.
I mean, you have our game balls ordered. You have, our theme nights. You're already booking groups around those theme nights.
Yep.
So that's
For
all
sure.
done.
Yeah.
But not everybody does it the way we do it. So that's
Right or wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. We only know what we know.
All right.
So that's my update. Is the IFL is in a good position. We do have talks with expansion teams that are happening, and we're hoping to bring, some different life into our fold, if you will, for 24.
Awesome.
And they're people we've been talking to now for a while.
Awesome.
So that's that.
Cool. That was good. Same page there.
Yeah. We usually are, so I'm not too worried about that. All right. So let's talk about pop culture, because this was a big weekend.
Barbenheimer.
I like the fact that they did that. Over 300 million. I think it's now 400 million the first weekend with the 2 movies. But what I loved seeing was...
They're going to need it without writers and movies.
Yeah, without these 2 movies, I mean, when was the last time you saw the parking lot at Bay Park, the parking lot at East?
That full?
Full.
No, it's crazy. Yep.
I mean, it was great. There was a lot of pink happening, but it was fabulous to see that. It was fabulous to see them running out of water. Question mark?
Weird.
Yeah. Sunday night, 7:00 movie, ran out of water. And we just went, how do you run out of water? But they did. A lot of those Barbie ladies must be drinking water. Anyway, let's talk about, because we saw both.
Yep.
We saw Oppenheimer together, and then we saw Barbie separately. And I think it was good for us to see it separately, because I want to get your take on, you guys did it as date night, right?
Yeah.
So it was just the 2 of you.
Yep. Well, we had the Sabins with us, but
okay.
I don't think I've said their name on here. So one of the teachers she worked with and my other bestie. So, yep.
So,
Yep.
You saw it as though couples.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk about it after?
Not a ton.
No.
Much like Matt, they have a youngin' in their life, so they're on the babysitter clock more than we are in our life season. So we did not unpack it a ton.
Okay.
So this will
Did you unpack it as a couple?
Ish, yeah.
Okay. Okay, apparently it was a lot deeper at the Trinkler household, because we really unpacked it.
Yeah.
Especially Helen and I unpacked it quite a bit. So let's go to Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
They're both heavy movies, like.
So we really thought one was going to be heavy, one was going to be light, right? They had a meme happening where coming out of Barbie, you're like, I think it was Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Oh, it was wonderful. She's saying all these great things, and then they show somebody coming out of Oppenheimer and stuff is exploding everywhere. The feeling coming out of both of them, you're right. They weren't. They were both. They got you.
Yeah.
If you were paying attention, they both should have gotten you.
Yes.
In different ways.
Yeah. I mean, Oppenheimer was nonstop, so I felt like just like it was. You couldn't get up and grab a soda or go to the bathroom on that one. So just because the story was constantly going and you're waiting for them to eventually blow something up, and So
what I liked about Oppenheimer was and there's been a lot of controversy, not just about the A-bomb and the hydrogen bomb around Oppenheimer, but how he was treated by our government. The government wanted him to do something, and then, I'm not going to ruin it for those who haven't seen it, but I would strongly suggest that you go and see it. What I liked about it was the science behind what man can do, and then what man chooses to do with it. And everyone that, when you think of history, most people think about, they did this because they wanted to destroy something. There was a conscious conscience by these scientists to not do and not give what they gave to the military.
Yep.
There's truth in, if we hadn't done it, someone would have. But I was very angry, I guess, around the scene where Truman says to him, "You're being a crybaby. Or you're being a crybaby. This isn't about you. They're going to remember me for dropping it, not you for making it."
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, very true. Very, very true. It wasn't his decision to drop it. He tried to get them to negotiate and understand what was going to happen if they did it. Did Truman really give that much to them to say this is what could happen? Who knows? Only one person knows that, and he's no longer here. So
yeah, it was intense. It was really intense. So.
It was intense and it was good. And Nolan, once again, great job directing. I mean,
yeah, I will say, audio wise, he is by far my favorite on the planet. He is Tenet, back to Inception. What that guy does with audio, there's probably no one like him. So,
and the timing of audio and visual, that was the one thing. Helen, being an engineer, she said she really, how sound travels.
Yeah.
So she's like, he did a really good job of capturing that.
Yes.
And that it's not the same as what you see. Sound comes later.
Yeah, it was cool.
So it was fabulous. It was a great movie.
Barbie.
Let's talk about Barbie. So my girls wanted me to wear pink. I'm not a pink person. I have one shirt that's pink, and I wore it because my girls were going to have pink on. Well, Kate showed up in all black, so it was perfect.
Well done, Kate.
It was perfect. Helen had on these pants that I saw her and her friend walking up, because it was Kate and I, Helen, and Helen's childhood friend. And both girls had on these really loud disco era type pink pants. So there was a lot of pink for everybody that went to the Barbie movies. So I was thinking it's going to be this lighthearted Barbie, the ditzy, what people envision Barbie to be.
Yeah.
So that's what I was expecting. I laughed. You've got to be kidding me during some of it. Will Ferrell was great.
Yep.
Kind of over the top for that role, but
that's what he does.
sent it home. But I cried. I mean, to me, seeing that movie with my girls was huge. I don't know if Kirsten got that same feel in there, but tell me what you guys did talk about, because that might get into my could be a rant.
I don't know if we really sent it on a rant, because we didn't have a deep conversation about it. I think we expected, like you said there, I thought it was more going to be comedy, fun movie, and they switched gears pretty quick and covered a lot of topics on who actually created the Barbie and didn't get credit for it and had been sitting in a closet, for lack of a better term. And
why she created the Barbie.
Right.
Why she created it.
Yep.
And that's the part that hit home for me. So and this will be a spoiler, so turn it off if you want to see the movie.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
I've wanted to do that.
Spoiler! So this is about a mom who wanted to show her daughter that she could be anything she wanted to be, right? And that's been the premise of Barbie and all of the mishaps that Mattel has done with Barbies over the years, which you find out about during the movie. Weird Barbie deserves an Oscar. I'm sorry, but she was...
McKinnon?
Yes.
Yep.
I love her as an actress. She was perfect as Weird Barbie.
By far the best part of the female Ghostbusters, which is a movie that a lot of people don't like. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
but,
I like the female Ghostbusters. So the part that has aggravated me about this movie, and when I again, I didn't know what to expect. So when I had all of my friends who are, these feminists, and they're going to go see it, and feminine power, and I thought, okay, you guys are the ones that have been bashing Barbie over the years for being this idealistic image, and now you're going to go see a movie about her? And then I realized why they went to see it, and I get it. You as a man seeing that, were you offended by how the man was portrayed? or how the men were portrayed?
Not necessarily. I don't think so. But I mean, I'm weird or different in a good way. I think I don't.
So
I don't. Yeah, just how I treat people's. It did not offend me.
So Barbie coming into the real world.
Yeah.
And her perception of the real world, and Ken coming into the real world, and his perception of the real world,
Right.
and then what it did to Barbie Land, I totally get.
Sure. Yep.
Totally get. My issue with it is, why does everything now, no matter what, whether it's a song by James Aldean
Sure.
or a movie that's meant to be something that brings us together as people, why does it have to be about
Sure.
woke? Why does it have to be about stuff that, to me, just let me go to a freaking movie
Yep.
and sit there with my kids and feel the power of what they're trying to tell. Because to me, that movie was about, and one of the best lines in there, I always call her Danny DeVito's wife. She does have her own role. She said, motherhood is about, and I got choked up talking to Larry about this after. Motherhood is about stepping back and watching the path that your daughter takes
Sure.
and letting your daughter develop into anything that she wants to become. Barbie didn't set us back as women. Barbie wasn't an ideal. We made her an ideal, right? We made her into that. And just like, pulp culture today is all about these things that, to me, I think y'all take a little too seriously. I'm all about a woman trying to become better in herself. I'm a CEO. I own businesses. I have all of the things that my mother absolutely hoped for me
Sure.
to achieve as the American dream. Did I squash people in the process and all of that? No. Did I have issues with men? Sure. But this idea of equality being men and women are equal, to me, I see it a little bit differently. And here's my take on it. And all you feminists that are out there, if this pisses you off, I really don't care, because this is my viewpoint. This is my rage cage.
Bum, bum, bum.
To
I don't
me-
need Rage Cage music. That's not it.
That doesn't sound very
No,
rage
no.
cage. It's more like...
It's like the Jaws music hits. Yeah.
To me, equality is this. Equality is not about becoming what the other one is, because we are made differently. Men are different than women. And I'm not going to make this into a gender thing. It's just, we are created differently. To me, equality is both sides finding importance in the other side and making that importance equally as important as the other side. So whether you're a woman or a man, you have to be able to, as women, we have to find men give us something. Now, some women feel they give us nothing, but that's their issue. Men definitely, and I'm sitting here in a studio surrounded by men, so I'm
We're all
saying this
dudes.
with all the love in the world. Men bring something to the table. Ladies, you have to recognize that. Ladies bring things equally to the table that you need to respect. And to me, our society would not be so unbalanced as it is right now if we could just accept and come to the middle and have a freaking conversation about stuff to equally offset one another and take pride in what we do, but also show that we have a sense of longing and needing for what the other side is.
Yeah.
To me, that's the right and left. There's a middle. The middle is where we should all be at. You can have the viewpoint of the far left, the far right, but give respect to both sides. And if we both respected each other as men and as women, that's what marriage is about. That's what your identity is about. Your identity comes from the relationships, right? You're born into this world. You're a female, you're a male. Your identity comes by the relationships that you have. You get married. Now you're a wife or you're a husband to somebody. Mm-hmm. You have a child. Now you're a mother to a son or a daughter. That's your true identity. Your identity is who you become through the relationships that you form. So I took away from the Barbie movie something totally different than the people that I converse with. So I don't know if that's a rant, if that's a plug, whatever that is. I think Barbie's a great movie. I think it's a great movie for mothers and daughters to see. It's not a movie for small girls to go see.
Nope.
I saw a mother come in with her small children and thought, and she left. She left when Barbie made it into the real world.
Sure.
She was done.
Yep.
So that's my only cautionary piece.
Yeah.
Okay, I did a lot of talking this episode.
You're good.
So now it's time for you to talk.
I don't know what else. I mean, that's good. I don't know. I don't have it.
Do you have a rebuttal or anything?
Not at all. There was no. We're meeting in the middle. There was no attack. I don't need to rebuttal anything.
Yeah.
I much like you. I go to enjoy that stuff, and sometimes it bothers the people with. I don't know if it ever bothers you. It bothered Knapp when I didn't want to overanalyze Apollo or not Apollo. Yeah, Creed 3 or. Wick 4 as to, I mean, those are like that. I didn't like, sometimes I just go and I don't want to pick it apart. I'm like, okay, cool.
You want to be entertained.
I literally love special effects, and the dumb, Michael Bay always wanting to blow stuff up. Like, he may not be a good director, but visually and audio, he's incredible, right? I go to be
what's
entertained.
What's wrong with that?
So,
right. And he's done how many now?
Yes, right.
They bring him back for a reason.
That's why I go, right? And but I think both those movies this weekend were heavy in a good way. So,
Yeah, they both, Helen said, Mom, I'm glad you took me to Barbie. She got a lot out of it, but she's like, I'd rather see Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
It's just, that's more my kind of thing. But she's a very big history buff, so.
And what I meant like different and weird is like, I don't think like that. I've never thought less of you. I never thought less of Kirsten. And I guess that's an upbringing thing, but like, and that's why I don't like, and it's not that I don't have a side in the battle or whatever it is. I've never respected you any less because you're a female. So it is what it is. Yeah.
Well, that shouldn't be a factor,
right. Yep.
But unfortunately our culture makes it a factor,
Yep.
and it just shouldn't be a factor.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I don't think it was a rant, a rage. I mean, it might be a rage cage. I don't know, because we need to use the rage cage graphic.
I got a little ragey in there, I guess, but I'm just sick of pulp culture thinking they have to dictate everything in our lives.
Yep.
You know, let it go. But then they would say, well, then we've lost our voice. No, you haven't. It's just, I don't want you in my face all the time.
Right.
So, and that's not an entitlement thing. That's just I want to be able to live. You want to live. Well, I'm oppressed. Well, I don't know that you are, you know.
Sure.
So we could have a whole show about that, and we're not going to. Yeah. Anyway.
No, I don't. That's Barrett was awesome. And that was an awesome take on both movies too. Not a rage. So yeah.
Okay. We have a movie coming up this week.
The Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. I'm more looking forward to her in Ahsoka, but that's a different talk for a different day.
Yeah, so. That's coming out too. Isn't that the end of July?
Yeah, August.
August
23rd or something.
Oh, end of August. Yep. Okay. Oh, we're at the end of July.
I didn't even cut because of I did busyness this weekend. I haven't even caught up. Comic-Con was this weekend too. I'm assuming there's 94 more trailers and all sorts of news and
Oh, we missed another Comic-Con?
Yeah, Cali, right? California. I think it was. I was thinking it was San Diego. Yep.
Man. We got to do a better job next year.
Yes.
We will be going to Comic-Con
at some point.
Yep. That'd be a great place to film a live show too.
Great. Imagine that. Just like,
I'm
yes,
sure they'd
please.
be there. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Keep us on task next year for when Comic-Con is. Put that in the calendar.
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool. Yep.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, San Diego makes the playoffs, and we play there's an equation where it could have football purpose. Yes,
it could happen.
Yeah, yep.
And then we just kind of segue.
Yes.
Yeah. Could happen.
Other than that, stay tuned to social media all season long for off-season updates. Knapp just launched a playoff bracket like we did last time. The league is going to be awesome and give the winner of that some IFL swag that I'll need you to grab when you're in Vegas. So, but we got an IFL prize for the winner this year. So
excellent.
Yeah.
The like we said, the meetings will be on Friday. The game is on Saturday, the weekend of the 4th.
On CBS Sports Network.
CBS Sports. So that's a big deal.
Yep.
For us. We're very, very lucky and happy to participate on that level.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I got.
All right. Are we going to have a show next week?
We'll determine that after we sign off, Blizzard Nation.
All right. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
All right.
Should we hit him with it?
Let's hit him with it. Go Blizz.
Don't forget to like, follow,
subscribe,
share,
and ring that notification bell to get all of our content in your inbox.